the whole time on the inside, it was just deteriorating.
The Bible tells us that we should bear fruit in repentance, and that's like a fancy way of saying, like, if you really want to follow Jesus, you should be able to, your life should show some kind of change. There should be a difference in you from the rest of the world.
Keola has shown repentance in his life. From the journey he's made till now, he's come far.
You know, being a drug dealer, that's not the best thing to be. That's not anything to be, really. Because it came and it went.
He has family back in Hawaii that he basically can't be around, and of course desperately wants to be around. I can only imagine how difficult that is.
I was in a relationship. I had a kid in 2010. I was dealing drugs prior to having him. I started dealing drugs when he was maybe 2 again. It was fun for a little while, but it wasn't fulfilling. There was always an emptiness. There was always something in my head telling me that I was more than what I was. Still to this day, you know, that I'm more than what I want to be on this earth. Started going to Pikes Peak Christian Church. I really encountered God for the first time. He didn't shove anything down my throat. He was taking me as I am, and that's when God, you know, started to chip away at me, and that's when I was revealed like who He truly is for the first time. And then I went back after 4 months, after, you know, really getting my stuff together, and I got headstrong, and I went down there to try to fix everything, and ended up falling down even worse. So my mom ended up buying me a Pikes Peak Christian CD, the worship album, and here I am sitting in my car and doing all this nasty stuff. I think it would be like silent out of nowhere, boom, like God's talking to me through people that love me. That voice again would come on like, hey man, you're better than this. You're not simply somebody that's just gonna waste their life away doing drugs. You got a child. Like, God was grabbing me out that situation. At the time I felt very guilted, because every time I'd hear that CD, it was just like, man, I'm doing these drugs right now, and these people that I'm listening to literally through my car was showing me a better way. That CD did so much to my heart. Like, God used that CD, God used those people, and those buttons weren't pressed on accident. That was Him saying, hey, peekaboo, let's get you out of here.
Keola's biggest adversity in his life was the loss of his son. Keola's love for his son is vigorous.
The only thing I've quote unquote lost, and it's only a temporary loss, the only thing that I could say I've lost that was worth anything to me is my son. My son's back in Hawaii. You know, there's still a void somewhat because I miss my son, and I'm thankful every day that I have my son, because if I didn't, I would probably still be letting God knock at my door without answering. I think truly He was my lifesaver, because I was ready to just play God and think I was boss for the rest of my life. If I didn't have my son, it probably would have took a lot longer for me to slow down and let God do His thing. Having a son made me feel like I had a life worth living. Having my son saved my life. One day I pray he understands what I did, and I know, you know, it might take some time, just like the rest of my life, it's taken some time, but I know that God's taking care of me on that.
Despite the loss of his son, Keola wholeheartedly loves God, and he definitely shows it showing up to church at 5 in the morning.
And he loves serving on the tech team. That's really obvious by the way he's here every single week without fail.
When I started volunteering with the worship and the tech team, it changed my heart.
But what's so cool is that he has found community and almost like a surrogate family here at our church.
If I didn't have the worship and the tech team, because these people became like brothers and sisters to me.
He has realized that there is power and love in the family of God, which is all of us.
God's gonna use love, like the best thing of all, to teach and to show you. Just that overwhelming feeling of love, you gotta have it.
Keola has definitely been a huge inspiration to the church and many around him.
He's inspired me, because if there's hope for someone like him, it gives me hope for other people that I know.
I mean, there's going to be times where, you know, you're going to have struggles. It's going to be hard. But when you have God and you know He has your back, it's just so much better.
Despite his hardships, he still triumphs his life.
Praise awaits you when promises made true. Praise awaits